Welcome to Xi Jinping Briefing. The content of the briefing includes 2024 will be a critical year for the West and the world. China's downturn leaves people struggling to meet basic needs, Xi Jinping admits. Xi Jinping uses New Year message to sound warning to Taiwan. China to simplify visa applications for U.S. tourists. What to expect around the world in 2024. 2024 will be a critical year for the West and the world. Telegraph. The new year brings with it the possibility of direct conflict between the West and either Russia or Iran, or both. The recent attack on the Russian city of Belgorod by Ukrainian forces marks an expansion of the conflict, and despite initial hopes that economic sanctions would strangle Russia's economy, Putin has managed to tap into Russian victimhood to sustain support for his actions. The ongoing war in the Middle East is also causing concern, as it is spreading and increasing the risk of direct conflict with Iran. The West must find a way to confront Russia and Iran without triggering a direct conflict. China's downturn leaves people struggling to meet basic needs, Xi Jinping admits. Telegraph. China's President Xi Jinping has acknowledged that people in the country are struggling to find jobs and meet basic needs, in a rare admission of economic weakness. This comes as fresh data shows a continued slowdown in factory activity and the housing market. China's official Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing declined to its weakest level in 6 months in December, indicating a contraction in economic activity. Additionally, the value of new home sales fell by almost 35% in December compared to the previous year. President Xi stated that the Chinese government's plans are aimed at delivering a better life for the people, with a focus on education, career opportunities, and access to healthcare for all. China has implemented stimulus packages to revive its economy, but challenges in the property industry and local government debts have hindered recovery. Analysts predict that China's GDP growth will slow further in the coming years. Xi Jinping uses New Year message to sound warning to Taiwan. Financial Times. Chinese President Xi Jinping has warned Taiwan's voters ahead of the island's presidential election that the reunification of Taiwan and China is inevitable. Xi's speech comes amid rising tensions between China and the West, particularly the U.S., over issues such as the disputed territories in the South China Sea and military activity around Taiwan. China has not ruled out using force to achieve reunification if Taiwan refuses indefinitely. Xi's speech also highlighted China's technological advancements and economic strength. Despite this, China is facing a challenging economic outlook due to a slower-than-expected recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic and issues such as a liquidity crisis in the property sector and high local government debts. China to simplify visa applications for U.S. tourists. South China Morning Post. China will simplify the visa application process for U.S. tourists from January 1, 2023, removing the need for proof of a round-trip air ticket, hotel reservation, itinerary, or letter of invitation. The move is part of China's efforts to increase interactions between the two countries and attract more international visitors. It follows a 25% reduction in visa fees for U.S. applicants, which is in effect until December 31, 2024. China and the U.S. also recently agreed to increase the number of direct flights between the two countries in early 2024. What to expect around the world in 2024. The Sydney Morning Herald. The year 2024 will see several significant elections taking place around the world, with implications for global politics and the major issues of our time. In North Asia, Taiwan's presidential election will be closely watched due to concerns over China's military intentions towards the island. In China, President Xi Jinping will face economic challenges and will seek to strengthen relationships with other countries. In Southeast Asia, the ASEAN-Australia Special Summit will bring regional leaders to Melbourne, and elections will take place in countries such as Indonesia, the Philippines, and Malaysia. In South Asia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and India will hold elections, with the latter being the world's largest democratic ballot. In Europe, parliamentary elections in Ukraine and several other countries will take place, and the UK may see a change in government. In the Middle East, conflicts in Gaza and Yemen will continue, and Iran will hold parliamentary elections. In North America, the U.S. presidential election will dominate the news, and issues such as the economy, immigration, and foreign policy will be key. In South America, changes in political leadership and economic challenges will be watched closely. In Africa, the war in Sudan and the battle for key minerals will be significant. Finally, in Oceania, New Zealand's Conservative government will pursue policy changes in areas such as language, education, and energy. Xi says China to consolidate and enhance economic recovery in 2024. Yahoo! China's President Xi Jinping has pledged to consolidate and enhance the positive trend of the country's economic recovery in 2024 and sustain long-term economic development through deeper reforms. In a televised speech for the new year, Xi said that China would deepen reforms to shore up confidence in the economy, as well as promote high-quality development and balanced development and security in a well-coordinated way. The government has recently announced a series of measures to support China's economic recovery, including steps to address a property slump and local government debt risks. Sweeping Chinese military purge exposes weakness and could widen. Japan Times. A recent purge of Chinese generals has weakened the People's Liberation Army, PLA, and exposed deep-rooted corruption within the military. This corruption could slow down Chinese leader Xi Jinping's military modernization efforts and hinder his goal of building a world-class military by 2050. The purge comes at a time of heightened geopolitical tensions, and the weakening of the PLA could have implications for China's ability to assert its power in the region. 2024 is shaping up to be a critical year for the West and the world. The possibility of direct conflicts with Russia and Iran looms large, as tensions escalate in Ukraine and the Middle East. The West must find a way to confront these countries without triggering a full-blown war. Meanwhile, China is facing economic challenges, with President Xi Jinping acknowledging that people are struggling to meet basic needs. The country's economy is showing signs of slowdown, with a decline in factory activity and the housing market. China's government is implementing stimulus packages, but obstacles such as the property industry and local government debts hinder recovery. President Xi Jinping has also warned Taiwan that reunification with China is inevitable, highlighting the rising tensions between China and the West, particularly the U.S. China's economic outlook is challenging due to a slower-than-expected recovery from the pandemic and other issues. On a more positive note, China is simplifying visa applications for U.S. tourists, aiming to increase interactions and attract more international visitors. This move follows a reduction in visa fees and an agreement to increase the number of direct flights between the two countries. Looking ahead to 2024, significant elections will take place around the world, with implications for global politics. The U.S. presidential election will dominate the news in North America, while China's President Xi Jinping will face economic challenges and seek to strengthen relationships with other countries. Elections in various regions will also shape the political landscape. In conclusion, 2024 is a year filled with challenges and opportunities. The West must navigate conflicts with Russia and Iran, while China faces economic hurdles. Elections around the world will shape global politics. It remains to be seen how these events will unfold and what impact they will have on the world stage. Now, over to you. What are your thoughts on these developments? Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.